Hello, so in today's tutorial, we will be covering the third part of our tutorial series of making Minecraft Clone and Core. In this tutorial, we'll be adding a simple way to break blocks, as well as spawning the new blocks that can now be seen. First, there's a few modifications we have to make to our old system to make this work. Let's go to our main script, and let's open my long studio instance. Here we go. Now we can do plots equals the table. Another thing is that I'm going to be posting a source code to the other two tutorials in GitHub, as well as a source code to this one in GitHub as well. So all the code is going to be available for you to use whenever you need it. Next, we have a lot of modification to do with the road generator script. So let's go to the road generator and open this up. 1 second, me get it open the right Visual Studio instance. There we go. So what we need to do is we have to do I don't need for chunk blocks anymore. We can get rid of this row. So what we have here is a global table for blocks to be accessed by any script running in the same context. So now what we can do, we have to modify this to -1 and xn +1. And we're going to do the same for here. This is essential for the breaking block system, spawning unseen blocks, whatever. Once the block is broken, a new block spawning that you cannot see. This could be an essential part of it. Another thing is we're going to replace all chunk blocks with _glove blocks. So if you have Visual Studio Code, what you can do is replace all chunk blocks with _g dot blocks. This should automatically make it all on the global table. That'll make everything work a bit better. As you can see, we can test this out and it still works perfectly fine. The only issue is instead of the blocks being stored locally in the script, it's stored on the global scope, which can be accessed by all the scripts that are running in the default context. Next, what we want to do is we want to have an if statement. If x is less than x start, or x, let me add some spaces here, as spaces make it look nicer, then x end, or x is less than x, sorry, y start, or should be y, shouldn't it? Or y is greater than y end. I think I should need, then else, this being the else here. Usually I have to add some code in here. So for z equals max down -1 max height -1 do. And then next we can do the end statement here. And if not, _g dot blocks of x, y, z, then we can do _g dot blocks of x, y, z equals. As you can see, there's another small thing we have to be doing here, changing how we store info about the placed block. This is something we'll be doing quite a bit throughout the tutorial series. We're going to be changing this up a little bit, but for now it's going to be block info equals block table of air and is spawn equals true. So what this does is it surrounds the chunk in some air blocks so that when you're mining outside the chunk, you can still spawn the air blocks. I mean, they'll be respawned, so they can't be spawned anymore, but point is, if there's nothing surrounding the chunk on that side, it'll create another layer of blocks so they can't mine through. They're there just to make the algorithm work better. So once again, as I said, we're changing the way we store the blocks. So what we have to do is change this to block info equals that, and is on equals to. So the block info is just the info about the block table, which we're going to be modifying in the block script, block table script, whatever it's code, where we have the info about like, template it is, and actually more info like can grass grow on it, or can you plant stuff on it, that kind of stuff. So we're storing everything in a single table there that has all the info about it, make it easier to modify. As I said, we may be modifying this table that we have for each spawn block a little bit, but hopefully we don't have to, but there's a chance we might have to, so can't really avoid it if we run into the issue. And I think that's just about it for the generate function, if I'm not mistaken. And it's checking the code I wrote earlier. So I wrote some code before the tutorial, so I have the code that's actually supposed to be working, so I don't have to spend a bunch of time trying to recode and get errors. So what we can do now is for the is blocks bounded, we have to modify this. So what we can do is we have to do, once again, if you have Visual Studio Code, another small trick is you can hold Alt. Oops. You can clean that up quickly. So you click right after parentheses. I'm not doing this very well. So you can do dot log info dot template. Or I guess just manually, I prefer doing it like how I did it. Just so you can get it all lined up correctly and you don't have to click more times, but either way, it should be working that part now. So we have this block info as a field in the spawn block info, and this gives us the info of the actual block. So we have like grass component, that kind of stuff. Eventually, probably add more to here, like I said, like light levels and all that. Maybe, hope you don't have to, but never know. Now comes the fun part, and I'm being sarcastic about that. This is gonna be a very big function, I guess you could say. It's like 20 lines, but function word generator dot spawn surrounding blocks of x, y, and z. I should spell that correctly. Surrounding blocks. Yep, make sure we spelled correctly. So this I'm going to speed up because it takes lots of typing, but it's very simple. So if underscore g dot blocks of x plus 1, y, and z dot block info dot template. So it should be not equals to. Then so and not underscore g dot blocks x of plus 1, y, z dot is spawn. Then so this does is if the template of the block that should be there is not new, so it's a template, like for example, basic block, and then also if it's not spawned, then we'll be spawning it in. So we can just do load generator dot spawn block x plus 1, y, z underscore g dot blocks of x plus 1, y, z dot block info dot template. And you have to do this 6 times for x plus 1, x minus 1, y plus 1, y minus 1, z plus 1, z minus 1. So not the easiest to write, but once you have the source code, so if you really don't feel like writing this, you can just copy it from here. That's what we're doing. I'm just copying it from my other pre-made script I have here. So I just have it here because I figured it'd be easier to just copy it than type it and speed it up. So Once again, all these source code is going to be on GitHub, so you can just copy it from there as it's documented writing. And the important thing is as long as you understand what it's doing. So this explained. Yeah, it should be that part. This should be a platform it. And then okay, so this should be false. It's going to dot box of x, y, and z dot spawn equals to dot block info dot template. That was an issue. Okay, now it should be working. Still not working. So the error is on 108 dot dot block info. And now on like 10th try should be working. Yep, so there we go. Now we have the terrain here. Once again, blocks aren't seen, aren't spawned. And theoretically, we should be able to break blocks now. So now we just have to make a script for breaking them. Apologize that I had a few errors there. Anyways, so now what we have to do is have an equipment. Let's drag this in. We want to have it like right where the spawn point is, so player equips it on spawn. So spawn point is here, so when player spawns, it'll be automatically equipped because it's right there. We want to have an ability. And it's like break block something. And we can just always go down to like 0 if we want to break blocks instantly. And we want to open script generator ability. We can get rid of all of this. Adding this break block, create new script, and break block ability. I hope to eventually move away from ability to have a pretty custom way of doing this without using abilities. But for the prototype, this is still good. Eventually, as we add like items and pickaxes and all that stuff that have different breaking powers, I have to figure out how it works, but anyways. I keep bringing this other window. Anyways, so now what we have to do is add a few custom properties. So let's remove all these comments because my opinion they don't look that great. We do not need the on cast either, so we can get rid of this code here. And we also want to have my ability referenced up here as it's better. Change this to ability. What about I think ability order. Okay, now I have a few more small things I have to do with this to make it working. To start off, we want to add in our block table. We want to add in a row generator. Those are two scripts we'll be requiring for this. That keeps something up in there. So anyways, local block table is required script. Yeah, custom properly. Now let's see, where was it named here? It is named blocks. Also my autocomplete intelligence thing keeps going to parentheses. It's my fault, but then local road generator road reader. Okay. Next, we're gonna have the unexecute. We wanna get this fully working. So local here it goes Mickey dot angular. Once I have local forward equals here get the road rotation. So this is the rotation direction for looking times vector dot new 800 Basically, this gets a point. So assuming players looking this way, you'll get a point like 300 up this way. Then we also want to add it to player get road position. Now I want to have local equals road cast. I would do is core would have a sphere cast so that it isn't a super accurate way, so it's a bit of margin to hit something even if you're not fully perfect. Here at road position. Then we do it to the forward. We can do more players, basically. And do if hit, so if it hits something, I can do local hit object, let's hit dot other, and block pause equals hit object, hit row position, 100. Because as we're storing the data as meters, the course position system is on centimeters, so we need to divide by 100 to convert to meters. Then you can do it should be local. My bad. Well, it doesn't really matter. I just like to have a local. It looks nicer. Local block, you will entry, for g dot blocks of block pause dot x and block pause dot y and block pause dot z. Yeah, that should be it now. Underscore g dot blocks of block pause dot x. Z goes to block info equals block info of air and the is spawn, which should the air spawned first, and then we can do hit object. So you can test this out now. There is a bit of a small issue we'll encounter. As you can see, this leads to a hole here. That's an issue. So how do we go around fixing it? Well, we recorded the spawns random box function. Use the original dot spawns surrounding blocks of blocks.x, blocks.y, blocks.z. As you can see, now we have all the blocks spawning. And the issue we encounter is that obviously we don't have a good camera setup yet, so it's really weird. Like where it chooses to hit stuff. So obviously you can switch to a first person camera and all that to make it a bit more accurate. And as you can see, it spawns these random blocks in the camera's fashion. So that's going to be very optimized compared to just having all the blocks spawned. And I think that's about it. You can code block outlines kind of easily. Not gonna go over that. You can just have a core object that move to the position of the hit. Anyways, that concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed it and have a fabulous day. Goodbye.